Good morning, everybody. Stu Smith here, going live. Hope you guys are well. Going to take some questions here after just a few minutes as you guys congregate. And while you guys are congregating, let's chat about a little something I wrote about today. It's going to be up on military.com, but it kind of an outline um, is in the description. And what this is about is adding activities that create a cross training effect that complement your military readiness. So this is really more towards, active duty military law enforcement firefighters who find that maybe their weightlifting isn't enough or their triathlon training isn't enough, and you need to diversify some of the activities you're doing just to be able to be an asset in a variety of situations um, that your job requires. So, for instance, if you like to lift, great, but you might want to add in some other activities. If you don't like running, maybe consider biking or swimming, to get some extra cardio, some non impact activity. Maybe rucking, especially if your job requires load bearing. You may just need to complement some of the training that you have with, some actual rucking. Maybe if that's not the issue, how about obstacle course racing? That's something where you can get uh, a wide variety of athletic uh, and physical components of training into your day, because you can focus on the cardiovascular, running in between obstacles, especially if you're doing obstacles in a hilly environment. Works your leg stamina, your lungs. Going to work your push pull muscles, climbing up and over obstacles, crawling. So many activities can get developed when you train for obstacle courses. I think they're great, very useful tools. Add swimming. Swimming is, once again, number one survival skill, I think, on this earth. Because if you can't swim, you're ineffective on 75% of this planet. So be an asset, learn how to swim competently that you can actually save someone else that needs help, or just as importantly, save yourself in those situations. Add stairs. Be surprised. A lot of activities require carrying all of your gear upstairs, especially if you're a firefighter. But throughout the tactical professions, there will be a potential need, especially in urban environments where you are climbing stairs to get to the high ground. You're climbing hills. All of those things are going to require hip, knee, ankle strength, stamina, and stability, um, and just the ability to carry loads, period. So that's another strength activity. Um, Biking, especially when you can't run. Um, I have written a couple of times about certain workouts that you can do when you can't run, whether it is an ankle sprain, shin splints, stress fractures. These things happen, especially when you go too hard too soon, and it's common. You might not understand what too hard too soon means. It's kind of vague. But if your progression in running is not a logical progression, chances are you're going to run so much that you can no longer run, and you got to do something else to maintain some cardio, maybe even improve your cardio. I've seen people do these three workouts. In fact, bike workouts. These 3 bike workouts, and when they started running again, actually performed better. So check out this article. It's up on military.com. Let me see what else we got over here. I'll put it over here on Instagram as well. I know you can't click it, but that last section is the title. You can search that. Let's see what else we got. Biking, yoga-based stretching, flexibility, stability, balance. All of those are great elements of fitness that you need to be able to have. Help you with a variety of things from not falling to injury prevention in a variety of ways, and just feeling better. Yeah, I can tell you, when your hips and lower back are tight and stiff, I mean, it hurts to move in any regular way. You can get your hips a little more pliable, strong, flexible, mobile, full range of motion. You'll be surprised at the added longevity that you can have, and added ability. There was a time 10 years ago I thought I was done running because my hips hurt so bad, and that's when I created that mobility day. So I don't necessarily do yoga classes, not afraid of them, just I find it better for me. And this is just, maybe it's my mind and body that work like this, to do, instead of doing an hour worth of yoga or an hour spin class, I do a lot better splitting those two up. And I'll do 5 minutes of yoga, 5 minutes of biking, 5 minutes of yoga, 5 minutes of biking. Do that for an hour, and it is life changing, especially if you focus on stretching what you need to stretch and moving what you need to move. And obviously, mix in some one legged activities so you work some balance as well. Um, Add lifting. If you don't lift, add lifting. I'd probably say this is, out of all of them, the most important for longevity. Because if you start losing muscle and you start losing bone density, it's going to make you weaker and ineffective, and your last 10 years of your life are going to suck. Very much so. So, keep lifting. Or, any resistance training, TRX, dumbbells, um, machine weights, calisthenics, even squats, lunges, walking upstairs. All of those are basically resistance activities that are going to work your muscles um, a lot harder than any cardio will. So you got to add strength training. Speaking of cardio, you can't miss out on your cardio either. And something I would recommend doing is maybe consider multiple events of cardio, whether that's in a day, in a week, in a month, whatever. Get multiple events. Something we like to do, we do something we call the Spec Ops Triathlon, where it's a run, swim, and ruck, or run, ruck, swim. Multiple events. There's a gentleman who I train online that does these multiple event races where he runs, he rucks, all on trails. He has to get in a canoe and paddle down a river. Um, has to grab a stretcher with partner and carry a stretcher. So there's so many different things that you can do to just make your cardio a little more fun. Um, so anyway, we we try to do as much of this as we can in our seasonal programs, right? So seasonal, we change it up as much as we can. So we try to make it diverse, when we are lifting and we're doing calisthenics and we're doing swimming and running and rucking, biking, is a big part of it as well. But, I could add more rowing and do, I got a kayak we could use, and, do more kayaking type stuff just to change it up a little bit. Because you never know. You might need to do some kayaking or rowing down a river, right? Depends. So anyway, that's a little bit of this article. I kind of just hit the meat of it. There's some, introduction and some conclusions in there that kind of give you some reasons why you might want to try this. Um, but that's been 10 minutes. Let's move on to some questions. I'm going to start at the top over here on Instagram. Looks like we got our first question here. Alex asks, want to return to buds. I quit because I got IT band in both legs. Yeah, that sucks. Um, ITB, I try buds. It's very common. Don't feel bad. I struggled with my why, but I tell you what, when you get injured, your why has to really be strong, because it makes you doubt things a lot. But it's something I want to really do and can't think of something better for myself. Well, I would say that's a why. If you can't stop thinking about it, that's a good why. You know, that is what dreams do. When dreams are resonating in your body and mind, you can't stop thinking about it. I don't care what it is. Med school, college, work, a job, you can't stop thinking about these things. Don't stop working towards them. So my advice for you, Alex, is get back on a plan. Try not to ramp it up too much. Logical progressions. Make sure you're adding in mobility days that stretch the hips and work the glutes so your IT bands are a little more durable this time. And the good news is going back is you kind of saw what it's all like, and it's not impossible. And you know where your weaknesses are, so don't leave any of those to chance, right? That's that's how it works. So, um, good luck. If you need something, just DM me. All right, another one over here on Instagram, and I think this is um, morning. I'm active duty. Recently broke my foot. Been using the elliptical and bike along with your pull-up pyramid. Good job. Yet I can tell it's not enough. What do you suggest? Cardio. Check out that article that I just posted up here a little bit above you. It's called Best Bike Workouts to Maintain Your Cardio Fitness When You Cannot Run. Like, it's real easy to get on a bike and not do anything useful on it. It's one of those activities, especially a regular bike. I find assault bikes and stationary bikes I work a lot harder on. A regular bike, it's real easy to stop pedaling and you're still moving, right? Whereas a stationary bike, you can put out on it. Um, my advice: read that article. Those three articles, I promise you, will be harder for you to do. Hopefully, you can go resistance, add some resistance to that bike and push it. But I probably wouldn't do it a lot right now while you're you know new to this foot brake. They may not want you to put a lot of pressure on it. So don't go high resistance, but get some RPMs, get that heart going. And if you can swim, swimming might be a good one for you as well, as long as it's not the ankle. Because I will tell you this, there's a lot of pain out there that goes with training, but you will definitely feel pain if you have a sprained or injured ankle, and you try to go swimming with it and it just flops around. There's nothing. It hurts pretty badly. All right, we got some more questions over here on YouTube. And by the way, if you can't watch all this um, live Q&A, they're always stored up on the YouTube channel. Sometimes I'll make them audio files and post it up on as a podcast, the Tactical Fitness Report. So just depends on types of questions that are asked, and if there's something that should be shared, I'll share it. But you'll always find it. They will not be up on Instagram for long, but they will be over here on YouTube as part of the live section. All right. Thomas asks, do you think that sandbag can help with getting bigger during the winter, or lifting weights is still needed? No, look, man, any weighted activity is resistance training. Even calisthenics, you can get bigger with calisthenics. Add a weight vest, and now you're doing fewer reps to get bigger and working on a little strength with it. Yes, a sandbag can be helpful. You can get big with rocks, sand, metal, picking up stuff, dropping it, bales of hay. You can get big as hell, right? So you don't need weights, but if you can get some, might be an easier way to do it. Not saying you can't without weights, just weights make it a little easier. Let's see here. I work security, so a good amount of time is sitting and waiting around. As the weather gets colder, there's even less. How do I keep myself active with an ever-changing schedule stuck in place? Yeah, you know what? My advice on that is you got to keep moving. Like, I'm sitting down right now, but I will turn this into a standing desk. So I'm not sitting down all day, especially if I have projects that I'm working on with the computer, processing orders, bank stuff, um, writing articles, finishing a book. Could spend 7, 8 hours, sitting down. Even though I worked out a couple hours today, it doesn't really matter. You know, I have found that if I sit too long, my hips hurt, my lower back hurts, legs get tight, but if I stand all day, my hips hurt, my legs hurt, my lower back stiff. Um, so you got to mix it up a little bit. So I'll sit in the morning, get a lot of the creative stuff done that I need to get done, and then I'll stand and do the other stuff later. So my advice is move around. Motion is lotion. If you're sitting doing nothing, you will get good at doing nothing. So you got to keep moving. My advice. Whether that's just get rid of your chair for a couple of hours and just stand, or walk around, as part of your security process. Get some steps in. Good question though. What do you think of changes in training, specifically regarding removing all alpha evos from prep and buds orientation and reserving it for only first phase? um it's one of those things that I think is logical, but I think they want to try to get more people into first phase, I guess, than using a prep or buds orientation process as part of the attrition. Um, it doesn't need to be like that. So I think sometimes getting over that hump and getting more people into buds itself, even though buds is going to be hard as it ever was, um, sometimes just getting into the hump takes away some of that mystery, and takes away some of that impossibility factor. You're like, hey, I just made it through the first week. I can do this. Whereas in prep, you're like, geez, this is what buds is like. So it may mess with your head a little bit too much. I don't know. I have always been under the school of thought that buds prep and buds orientation should be meant for prepping you for buds and getting you ready for buds, not putting you through buds. So there you go. That's my 2 cents on that one. Let's see here. So Jack asks, for your programs that recommend a bike pyramid, what alternative would you suggest when you only have an assault bike? Try to do the pyramids by doing 100 watts every minute, but fizzle out too fast. Yeah, my bike pyramid is set up to where every minute on the minute I increase the resistance. My advice for you, if you can't increase the resistance, every minute on the minute, increase the wattage. You don't have to go up by 100 watts every minute. That's a lot. Just stair step it. Because, you know, on my bike pyramid, it starts off at 1 or 2. And sometimes I'll go up even numbers 2, 4, 6, 8. You know, works a little bit easier. 1, 2, 1 to 10 is really easy. So I try to get there in 5 minutes, get to 10. And then once you get in the teens, it's a little harder. Same way for the assault bike. You know, if you go up by 20 watts, you know, or 10 watts every minute on the minute, see how that works. So give yourself 10 minutes to get an additional 100 watts every minute. That may be more useful for you. Sterling says, good morning. Been struggling with hitting 50s with the frog kick. My base stops being as wide within a few strokes. Not sure what you mean there. Any recommendation beyond repetition? I will tell you this: if you're not good at frog kick, you might be good at um, scissor kick. Now, I will tell you this: my scissor kick is twice as good as my frog kick, and I've been swimming a long time. And you know, I think if you're a land athlete, you probably developed your hips to do this, like scissor kicking, versus doing this, like your frog kicking, whipping those knees out, like a breaststroke kick. So I never have done underwater swims with a breaststroke kick. I've always done it with a scissor kick. And if I'm in the shallow end, I just turn to the side and do a scissor kick, you know, whenever I'm doing the underwater swim. But the good news is that, you know, for any 50-meter, I I'm assuming you're talking underwater. I don't know. Um, Maybe you're talking the CSS. Same answer for the CSS and underwater. Just you know, I practice scissor kicks if you suck at frog kicks. Oh, but you're asking underwater. Yeah. So here's the deal. The beauty of underwaters, you know, especially at buds, is you're always in the deep end. So when you do a scissor kick, you know, you could just do your scissor kick just like this, right? And you're 6 feet, 8 feet under, and you still got 3 or 4 feet underneath you before the bottom. You're not going to kick the bottom. Your foot top leg's not going to come out of the surface of the water. So I personally prefer scissor kicks. Now that's my preference, may not be yours, but if your frog kick isn't working, try scissor kick. See what that feels like. I've been thinking about switching from air guard and going active duty pipeline for TAC P or PJ. Any thoughts? I think that's a great idea. Both those jobs are great. I think you'll get a lot out of them. Yeah, go for it. In fact, if you're looking for something that'll help you crush that IFT, check out that Air Force Special Warfare. Crush the IFT, OFT. It's a good one. And it's way more than just the IFT. It's pool skills and treading and over-unders. There's a whole lot to it. Rucking. You know, you need to get good at everything. Another one is if you need to add lifting in there, increase strength and crush the PST IFT. That's our next winter lift cycle we're going to do. All right, let's see what else we got. Looks like we got all the questions answered. Did I miss any? I don't think so. You guys got some questions, send them. Happy to answer them. Let me see if I have some from might have some from Instagram in the message section. Oh, we got another question here. Jake says, rucking for Bud's prep. What's your opinion on it? Well, there's no more rucks in first phase unless they're bringing it back. They 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 originally didn't have it. They brought it in for like 5 years and then they took it out last few years. Maybe even had it for 10 years. So I think it's a great idea. And here's why is a lot of times you don't have a boat or a log or preparing yourself for load bearing activities, your back and your spine and all of that. So rucking is a good way, or even a weight vest, 50-pound weight vest is a good way of getting your legs used to running. Now, I would try to find softer ground to ruck on, especially you're going to be doing this on a beach. So if you can find a beach, even better. Soft sand, dirt, things like that you have to run in. Would highly recommend that. But if it's just pavement, you know, I probably wouldn't do it. Be honest with you. Some maybe once a week max. You don't need to ruck a whole lot. We have a hill day today where a few guys decided to ruck it. We'll do a beach run on Friday where several guys will ruck it. We do have a boat, so sometimes we'll run with the boat. In fact, this weekend we probably will. So there you go. I think it's useful, but you don't need to do too much of it. What is your bike workout when you can't run? I just shared that video or shared the article link. Go up above in the comment section, Gary, and you'll see 3 workouts that I like to do when you cannot run. Sterling asks, would you recommend more strength based lifting, 1 to 6 reps, or muscle growth based lifting for prep for buds? That's a good one. It depends. If you're an endurance athlete, really good on the cardio, no issues with running, swimming, things like that, I would probably add in a strength cycle where you're actually focusing on strength. But I would build on that and add reps. So some of the tests, like in here, for instance, yes, you're still maintaining a PST, but there's a little chart in here with some recommendations on like weighted pull-ups and body weight bench press, deadlift. Um, we're not looking for 1 rep maxes on that. Body weight bench press is a max. Double digits. Can you get 15, 20 of your body weight? Can you get 15, 20 of weighted pull-ups? Double digits is good. 10 is great. 15 is better. Shuttle runs, long jumps, so explosive power type stuff. Squats, 1.5 times your body weight. Deadlift, same thing, 1.5 to 2 times your body weight. Can you do 1 to 5 reps of it? That's where that is. I don't necessarily, you don't need to be 200 pounds and deadlifting 600 pounds. I think that comes with, if you can do that, that's great, but it usually means there's some other weakness somewhere. Like you may suck at running, or you may have very little endurance, or, um, of the legs, and, muscle stamina is an issue. When you're doing like quarter mile of lunges with a sandbag on your chest, that may be an issue for you. So yeah, I guess I didn't really answer your question. It just depends on you. If you send me an email, stu@stewsmith.com, I'm happy to answer it for your personal situation. Like depending on your athletic history, depending on your timeline, what I would recommend if someone was training with us, how I would coach them. I've got all those over there. Let's see. A couple more questions. Took a whole week off, Monday to Monday. Today I ran 4 miles in 37, starting to wonder how much training is mind over matter. Clearly, I don't lose as much cardio as I thought I would. Same goes for weightlifting. 4 sets last Monday of squats. As little as it sounds, I went heavier today for same reps last time. Um, you know what? Um, a week isn't too much. Sometimes a week is needed. I will be honest with you. I don't rarely take weeks off. I may take a day, 2 days off max. And then if I really want to just kind of take the rest of the week easy, I'll do a week of mobility days. I have done that a few times. And that is a week of just feeling really good. And then you come back into training again and everything's awesome. Feels great. Yeah, I will tell you this. Depending on the type of athlete you are, I have taken a week off of lifting and have come back stronger. I've taken a week off of running and it's like I've never run before in my life. So I think everybody's a little bit different. I've seen cross country guys take a week off and come back faster, but they take a week off of lifting and it's like they never touched a weight before. Um, so I think some of that is just depends on your athletic history and what you can take off and see better results, and what you can't take off, and if you take it off you'll see worse results. Can anyone come up and train with me? Yes, but you have to be um, preparing to serve. We got all types. We got military, law enforcement, firefighters, police officers that are trying out for SWAT. We have high school kids that are going to service academies or enlisting, college kids that are going to go OCS, ROTC, or enlisting. So we got all types, but they all have a plan to serve. That's my one requirement. So civilians wanting to be FBI agents, we got all types. So I'm in ROTC now, and I'm training for SOAS. Then absolutely, you meet that criteria. And you can't argue with the price. You go to heroesoftomorrow.org. It's free training. They're basically my workouts that I do, but I specialize them a little bit, make them a little harder for folks that are preparing for spec ops jobs. We've had, let me see, I think we had like 5 or 6 OCS guys all go to SOAS this summer, few ROTC, and then a whole bunch of academy guys I also coach. So I know what you want to do and how to do it. Let's see. Looks like I got all the questions again. You guys got any more? Because I am probably going to shut it down here for a minute. I've been going 33 minutes. But if you guys pop up a question here in the next 2 minutes, I'll just go ahead and do my closing now. So here's my closing is, if I missed your question, send it to me, stu@stusmith.com. You can also DM me over on Instagram, probably what most people do. We'll send videos over there as well. I'll critique them, send them back to you. But you can also just email me questions, especially if it's something that is difficult for me to answer in a 1-minute live Q&A. You need a little bit more personalization, I can definitely do that for you over email. You can also go to StuSmithFitness.com. Tons of articles over there in the blog section. A lot of other offerings over there as well. Books, ebooks, membership site, personal training, all that over there. And you can save 15% by using the Live15 coupon code for sticking around this long. I really do appreciate it. Looks like we are done with questions. So, no other questions? All right, folks. Well, I won't take up your time, and I appreciate yours for sticking around this long. Email me if you got questions. Happy to assist. You guys have a good one.